welcome to another Ask Nerida Joy video. I have Shanlyn back here with me today. She had her first treatment about 3 weeks ago, and during that time, since I've seen her, she did go on a vacation to Hawaii. So what we do know when you travel is that the sun is very different, and there is not the pollution in Hawaii like we do have here in LA. The sun is a lot different, and especially in places like Australia and Hawaii, it's a really pretty sun and a bright sun, and often when people travel to other countries like that, they come back with more melasma. So what I was really happy to see when I saw Shanlyn is that she does not have any extra brown blotchiness, which is really great. I know she was really diligent about putting on her sunscreen. What I also noticed looking at Shanlyn's skin from our first videos, and we can slip in a photo of her here, so you can see what her skin was like before, but her pore size now is much smaller, and that's really nice. She's still a little bit surface dry, so I know she's been traveling. We're going to look at that. She mentioned her skin was feeling a little bit irritated when she was away in Hawaii. That did not happen until she was there. So we're going to have a look at that also once we bring the Maggie lamp over. And but I'm liking how her pores look, and that's something that's always, you know, a lot of people that have enlarged pores, it's really important to keep your pore size small because everyone wants their pores to be smaller, and for your pores to be smaller, we know you have to have keep your skin really clean, so those pores have to be kept clean as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cleanse her skin off first. We will put little goggles on Shanlyn, bring the Maggie lamp over, the camera over, so you can have a look under the Maggie lamp at her skin today. So I'm just starting with the K cleanser. It's a very gentle, non-foaming cleanser, and it's really great for anybody and everybody. If you have sensitive skin, it's also a great cleanser for men who like to shave with it. It's very nice for all skin types, and of course non-foaming. And what's important to note as well with the cleanser is you do put it on a clean dry hands on a dry face as well, so there's no water. In other words, her face is not wet when I'm putting it on, it's dry, and my hands are also clean and dry. So we're taking off the cleanser now. Again, I'm using my soft disposable sponges. So we have the goggles on Shanlyn's over her eyes. I'm going to bring the Maggie lamp over, and we're going to have a look at her skin. So what we're seeing here, if you look at her previous pictures, we can see that her pore size was much larger than it is now. And that is great that her pore size is smaller. But what we can also see is we've got some irritation here, which we did not have as much last time. Her rosacea seems to be fine. Shanlyn does have a mild amount of rosacea, but she has some irritation down on the cheek, that ruddiness down there, which looks like it is product related a little bit. It is looking better, the forehead's looking better, the texture's better, but just a little bit of irritation. So we're going to double up on one of the serums there for her nighttime regimen. Okay, so we've cleansed Shanlyn's skin. I'm not going to do my traditional exfoliating mask on her the way that I normally mix it with the healing gel. I'm going to put some flavonoid on her skin first, and I'm going to start layering. So I'm a big believer in layering. When you go to exfoliate the skin, you can put different things underneath it to buffer it. So because Shanlyn's skin is, I want to exfoliate it because she does have a little bit of dryness on the surface of her skin, noting that she was traveling as well. So I do want to exfoliate her skin, but I want to buffer it back a lot. And so I am going to layer it, and that's why I'm putting on the flavonoid right now. So we're just layering it with that. Then I'm going to put on a little bit of the exfoliating mask and combine that with some healing gel. So this one is the flavonoid, and now what we have is the exfoliating mask, and it has a little bit of healing gel with it. So now we're going to work this into the skin, and remember that just that buffering is going to not make it as irritating on her skin. This particular exfoliating mask has the papaya enzyme papain. It also has a little lemon peel powder, and it has a little bit of glycolic in it. So it's a really nice exfoliant. It smells really nice, and the great thing about exfoliants is that you can change them by buffering them back. So even if you like a scrubby exfoliant, and I'm not a huge fan of scrubs, but for most people, because they're either too sensitive, they're often very drying. But if you do like to use even a scrubby exfoliant, sometimes it's really good to buffer it back with something, just so that it's not so scrubby and it's not so irritating. So my point to this is that you can change things by buffering them back, and that will, you still get the action of it being an exfoliant, but it's just not going to be as intense or as irritating as some of them may be. But as I said, it's really important you have to look at everyone's skin, and of course once you analyze their skin, it's up to you then to decide what type of exfoliant you're going to be doing. And occasionally, you may not even do an exfoliant at all on their skin, because some people just don't need it. They don't have surface dryness, their pores are really clean, and sometimes it's just not necessary. I know I've said this in the past, but even on myself, because I use AHAs and retinols on a regular basis, I don't use an exfoliant on my skin at all, and it's something that I just don't need because my skin is not really surface dry. So, when you use AHAs and retinols, that really stops a lot of that dryness. Okay, so we've worked that into her skin right now, and it's doing its thing, but on a milder level. And now we're just going to take it off with cooler water. Okay, I'm going to put a little healing gel on. I like to use the healing gel. It's a 98% aloe vera, and it's always nice to put it on after you've done an exfoliant, or if you've done a peel of any form. It's nice to put it on the skin because it's very soothing and calming. It's very good if the skin has had a slight chemical burn, a sunburn. It's just a really nice product because it's so soothing and really helps. So I'm just going to get a little bit of cool water, and we're going to then just remove it. Well, I'm going to just do one more cleanse because I can see she has just a little bit more exfoliating mask around the mouth. So I'm going to do one more cleanse. So what we've done now is we've cleansed Shanlyn's skin. We have put a coating of the Q flavonoid, which has your arnica, your vitamin K, your vitamin P. It really supports blood vessels. It feeds the skin a lot of nutrients. And I've put one layer of that on her skin. Then I've done the exfoliating mask mixed with a little bit of healing gel. And that has done a nice exfoliation on her without it being too irritating. So that's nice. Now we're going to put on another coat, and we're going to go back and we're going to layer more. So I always say, if you can't feel that you've got product on your face, then you don't have enough on your face. You need to be able to feel you've got something on your face. And even touching my face at any point throughout the day, you will always feel that there's something on my face. And it's very important because you need that added protection to protect your skin from the environment and air conditioning and heating. And heating is so tough on the skin. It's really difficult. So it's important to layer. So don't be afraid to put a serum on and then put another serum on if you like, or if it would be a second coating of the same one, which in this case is what I'm going to do. Because in a lot of cases, the skin just sucks it up. And what does that mean? It means the skin needs it. So it's really important to, not be afraid of putting product on the skin and just letting it suck it in, because clearly most people are walking around without protecting their skin enough, and their skin is so dehydrated, especially in this town. In Los Angeles, it's, so many people have really dehydrated skin, and it shouldn't be like that. So you have to really protect, put your layers on, and hydrate your skin. And hydration is different from nourishing. If you were an oily skin, and meaning that you have oil all over your skin, blackheads everywhere, then what does that mean? It means that your skin doesn't need nourishing, but it needs hydration. So hydration is healing. If your skin, if you have a few marks on your skin, your skin marks easy, if you get pimples or ingrown hairs, then you need to hydrate your skin, because that's what heals your skin. So it's really important to not be afraid of doing that. A lot of people that just don't use moisturizer on their skin at all, and one of my clients today told me that he doesn't put moisturizer on his face when he goes to bed at night, because he said he doesn't want to get it all on his sheets. But you can wash your sheets. You've got to put stuff on your skin, you know, it's important. So he did walk out with something, trust me. I did not let him get out the door without nothing. So he has a new regimen, and it's just important to really layer. So right now, Shanlyn's skin is feeling a little sticky. I've put 2 layers of the Q flavonoid on her skin, and this is an extraordinary product in how it works. I cannot even tell you the difference that people see when they are working with something like it's bioflavonoids. It's what helps support, it helps circulation in the skin, and it helps support blood vessels, and it just helps everything really. It's so soothing and calming. It's not an acid, it's not a retinol, and we all need something like this. So what I'm doing here is I'm working with my massage cream, which is actually my hydrating mask. It's a very thick cream, doesn't move. It has shea butter in it, and it is a really nice cream. It doesn't look fantastic, it smells okay, but the great thing about this particular cream, and there are many creams out there, and there are many wonderful, wonderful skincare lines out there, but you want a cream that is going to absorb into the skin and not just sit on the surface. Now, a lot of oils just sit on the surface. You want things that are going to go into the skin and hydrate the skin. So, you know, Shanlyn still, she's got that oily T-zone area, and her pore size, fortunately, is smaller this time, which is great. But she has a little bit of irritation, so I'm not going to be working with retinols on her today in treatment. We are going to up her layering with her serums. I'm going to have her do 2 layers with the flavonoid, and now that she's back here, I know next time I see her she won't have that same irritation. So you're going to see a big difference in her skin in another 3 weeks, and I can tell by looking at her skin right now. Her skin is already, it's looking better, it's feeling better, it's stronger underneath, it's not moving quite as much with my hands, and that's why her pore size is smaller too. That AHA cream does stimulate fibroblast cells, and if you are wanting to make a difference to your skin, you have to stimulate fibroblast cells, because fibroblast cells is what is the batteries to your collagen and elastin fibers. So to make a difference with the size, the depth of a wrinkle, or the size of a pore, you have to use AHAs and work with things that are going to stimulate your fibroblast cells. Sometimes they feel a little bit tingly on the skin, and often they don't too. It just depends on the type of cream that you're using. But they don't have to be tingling to be working on your fibroblast cells. So in other words, if something's, the stronger something is, doesn't mean that it's better. You just want to make sure that you're using it on a regular basis, and that means every day you want to be using alpha hydroxy acids, because usually in either a serum or a cream form. And I know we had this discussion. I had recently done an interview with Jordan Samuel, and we talked about this a lot, because what happens is people are really using a lot of AHAs in their cleansers, in their serums, in their toners, and too much of AHAs can be irritating. So they're not all equal, all right? So you want to make sure that when you're using product that you're not doubling up too much on acids and drying your skin out and then just constantly, working with things. Everything has a purpose when you put it on your skin, and you need to look at the skin and just see what your skin needs. And for us Estes out there, it's important that we tell our clients what they need to be using at home, because they come to us for help with their skin. So it's really important that you let your clients know what it is that they need to be doing to help their skin at home. And it's important that you spell that out to them. If you're not prescribing product to your clients, then you're not a 5-star esthetician, because product recommendations and product advice is all part of being a 5-star esthetician. and otherwise, you know, your clients will go somewhere else. So it's important to prescribe. It's important to make sure that every step of their home care regimen is that you've got them on a good system. They need to have a good cleanser, because cleansing is 50% of your regimen. And as you know from my previous videos, I am not a fan of foaming cleansers. Most people cannot use a foaming cleanser. They are too stripping and too drying, and they create an enormous amount of problems. It doesn't matter if you're oily or dry skin, it is a big problem. So do not use foaming cleansers. Just use something that's gentle. When it comes to a toner, I don't always believe in toners for everybody either, and most of the time I prescribe toners. They're a treatment, and they're usually a hydrating toner that is something, either a lightening and a brightening toner that has again, a purpose. It's not just a toner because you're lazy with your cleanser and you're doing a toner just to get off any excess dirt. It doesn't work like that. You have to cleanse your skin properly, and the most important time to cleanse your skin is nighttime. And what you do is you use a clean, warm, wet washcloth to take that cleanser off. Massage your products into your skin is really important. I am a huge believer in massage. I do most of my facials. I want my hands on my clients and as much as I possibly can, and I'm going to be massaging their skin as much as I possibly can. If they have pustules and papules, that may not be the case, but in a lot of the time, I believe very much in massage. We need that movement, and with people doing Botox and a lot of fillers today, it creates a lot of sludge and not movement in the dermal levels, which it really needs moving. So it's important to keep everything moving, as Dr. Wayne Dyer always would say, that our bodies are made of more than 70% water, and while ever a stream is moving, it stays clean. When it becomes still, it gets stagnant, and that creates sludge, and sludge creates a flat, dull surface of the skin. So you want to make sure that you are massaging the skin a lot. When you massage the skin a lot, your skin will look younger, it will look brighter, and it will look healthier. And its function is all of that. Its function will be healthier as well. So your cleansing, your toners, as I said, they have a purpose. I usually give them to a more drier skin, maybe to act as an extra form of a protection in some form. And your serums, you know, you have hydrating serums, you have bioflavonoids, you have all these different wonderful serums out there that have a different purpose on the skin, and there are so many fabulous serums. It's important to use different serums for different times of the year, because your needs for your skin are different. In the summer months, you want to protect your skin from the sun, and if you're using something that has a little bit of a vitamin C in it, that's fabulous, because not only is it fighting free radicals, it aids as an extra protection from the sun. So vitamin C is really important, and it's a really nice serum to have on your skin in the summer months on certain skin types. Now, some people are sensitive to vitamin C, and out of all the serums that I've worked with, the two ingredients that have been a problem for me and my clients is, number one, vitamin C, and I'm going to say about 8 to 10% of people that use a vitamin C serum will have a reaction from it. The reaction will be seen as tiny little red bumps under the skin. They're not pustules, but they are tiny little red bumps. It's a reaction from the vitamin C. Obviously, vitamin C is more acidic. There are different types of vitamin C, and how they're derived is very important. Some of them are the ascorbic based, and some of them are magnesium. There's different ways that they produce vitamin C, but it is a popular one that people can be sensitive to. The other ingredient that I have found people are very sensitive to are your niacinamides. They're very stimulating, and that's another one that doesn't work for everybody. So again, on the percentage range, you're probably only about 8 or 10% of people that use them that will have a problem with them, but it's still quite high in our business. So the serums, either way, as I said, are very important, and it's important to use certain serums at certain times in the day. So in the winter months, you might want to use something that's more of a hyaluronic acid based, because that coats cells and stops moisture from escaping. And there are so many that contain hyaluronic acid. It's such a popular, a very, very popular ingredient that's added to many things. But as I said, there are many, many different hyaluronic acids out there. But it's a really nice one to have in the winter months. And then certain times of the months too, the serums that I really love are the ones that have your arnica and your vitamin P and your vitamin K and anything that's going to support your little blood vessels. That's really important, because everybody's skin is more sensitive now than it used to be, especially if you've been doing things like microdermabrasion or any forms of the needling, or you've been doing laser peels, or you've been doing strong AHAs, or you've had acne and you've stripped your skin back. The skin gets very sensitive with these types of things. So it's really important to use things to support the skin and nurture it, and that's what your flavonoids do. So they're always good to work with all year round, but basically it's nice to have a support team of different serums so that you can alternate depending on your skin, where you're living, if you're flying a lot, just the different things that support your skin. All of these things are really, really important. So I'm a huge believer in layering and serums. And then your treatment products, and your nighttime treatment regimen is something that should be stimulating a little bit, whether it be an alpha hydroxy acid, because again, we want to get to those fibroblast cells, and or maybe it's something that has a little bit of retinol in it. And that's really nice too. So I'm a believer in active ingredients, because that's what makes your skin younger. And I don't know about you, but most people that I meet, I mean, if not everybody, they want to look younger. We all want to look younger, and that's what is important. You know, aging is difficult, and especially for a woman. Men seem to look more sexy, and women, unfortunately, it's not like that for us. So it's, you know, the grey hair, don't like it. For women, it's really important. We all want to look young and keep our skin young and pretty. So it's important to use products that have active ingredients, and that's your alpha hydroxy acids, which are your glycolic, lactic, malic, tartaric, and citrus. They're all the molecules of the alpha hydroxy acid group. And I've said this before, but they're all different weights and different sizes. And the purpose of when you can work with something that has a multiple array of your alpha hydroxy acids, then you're going to be working on different levels in the skin. And that's really, really nice, because it's like building a house. When you have a strong structure, you have strong walls, and you have a strong roof, your house will survive many things. And it's the same with your skincare products when you're working with alpha hydroxy acids. It's nice that you have molecules that support all the different levels in the skin. And if you look at a graph of what that looks like, it's like your glycolic, which most of you have heard of, is the smallest molecule of the alpha hydroxy acid group. So what that means, its weight is different. It goes right down, it's the smallest, it goes to the deepest levels within the skin. So in a graph, you're going to see all these little circles, and they get larger as they go up, because it's the smallest molecules will go to the lowest layers in the skin, the lower layers. And so when you see it in a graph, it's all very interesting, because you understand, well, wow, this is the skin. This is the dermal layer, and when you've got all these structures that are supported and strengthened by using your alpha hydroxy acids, then it makes a big difference to your skin, and it changes your skin. And I see it constantly. And if you look at some of my videos, like with Micah and Lila, you'll see how much their skin has changed from nothing other than just home care regimens and AHAs and a couple of facials with me. So you can really make major changes with people's skin, and it's important to let your clients know this, and to explain, you know, what it is they need to do, and prescribe what they need to use for their home care regimen. It doesn't need to be a gazillion products. It just needs to be what their skin needs. And usually that's, you know, maybe 5, including an eye product, 6 items. Then they've got a really good regimen for home. So it's important to prescribe. So do not be afraid of prescribing, because if you do not prescribe products to your clients to use at home, then you are doing them a disjustice. And and that's not right. So do the best for your clients, prescribe home care, and have them on a good regimen, and keep checking on them and just making sure that everything's working for them and it isn't irritating their skin. Like Shanlyn had a little irritation from her alpha hydroxy acids when she was in Hawaii. Then we need to have a look at that and we need to figure it out and correct it. So all these things are very important. Okay, so we've worked that into her skin, and now I'm just going to use some warm towels and take off the excess there, and we'll have a look and see what we're going to do next. So I'm not taking it all 100% off. I just want to get rid of a little bit of the excess. What I'm going to do next is do a fruit complex number 1. And the fruit complex is an acid. It's my alpha hydroxy acid complex. It has all those molecules in that I was just talking about, glycolic, lactic, malate, tartaric, and citrus. I'm going to use that on Shanlyn. It is very safe to use on her skin, even though she's a little bit red. It's actually can be soothing and calming. And I want to use it on her skin just to help get rid of, again, some of that buildup. It's better than when we first started with her, but I can still do more and get more out of her skin. So I'm going to put that on. I'm not going to leave it on long, just a minute, and then we'll be putting a mask on her skin. So my fruit complex number 1, I'm putting it on with a cotton pad, and I'm just putting it all over her skin. She will feel some stinging. It's not going to be anything too crazy, but she will feel some stinging with it. Now, I've talked about this in previous videos, that when you're working on wrinkles, and Shanlyn doesn't really have many wrinkles, barely any. She has fine little lines on her forehead, which are more premature lines that are not, it's just because she has a build-up. She's had a lot of sun on this part of her face over the years, and the thickening that happens and the dryness, it makes it look like her forehead has wrinkles, but they're not really wrinkles. So these are the pretend wrinkles that we talk about. So when you're doing something like this with an alpha hydroxy acid, you just want to go backwards and forwards with your pad a little bit, so you're getting into the lines. So you're doing it in different ways with your pad. You know, you're going this way, you're going this way, different direction. That's the word I'm looking for. We're just going to leave that on a minute, and then we'll be taking it off shortly. We've left this on Shanlyn for a couple of minutes, and this is a fruit complex number 1. That's a 25%. We're going to take that off now. Now remember, we did not take off the treatment products underneath so much, like we didn't strip it down to nothing. We're going to use cold water here and sponges, and we're just going to take off the excess there. But you can see that her skin is not irritated. It's the fruit complex, the lipoceutical vehicle that the fruit complex is in, it almost feels a little bit oily when you apply it to the skin. So it allows for better penetration underneath and very little irritation on the surface. So, you know, when you are choosing your products, if you're starting a business and you're choosing your products, what to use in your salon, you want to make sure that you go and you speak to your chemist, and you want to make sure that you're on the same wavelength, because it's really important that the philosophy matches yours and that things make sense to you. So I'm not about stripping the skin too much, obviously. I'm about feeding the skin a lot and massaging the skin a lot and working in treatment products that really don't burn the outer layer of the skin because of the problems that creates. And so it's really important that you have a conversation with your chemist, and you understand that that you're on the same path. So when you are looking for a good skincare line to use in your treatments, these things are really important. So we are now putting on some healing gel, and I'm just putting a light coating all over her skin. But her skin's not irritated. We've just done an AHA on her, and now we're going to put on a mask. And I'm just going to work a mask in that is just for a few minutes and then take it off. Her skin is looking really good, and it feels really good. And masks don't have to be left on a long time. Sometimes, you know, your mask could be a hydrating mask and it doesn't go on the skin really much at all. But right now, the mask I'm going to work with the herbal mask on Shanlyn a little bit, and just work it into the skin again, massaging it, constantly massaging it into the skin. I'm not going to let it dry. and then I'm going to be taking it off. So here's my herbal mask. The herbal mask is a nice mask for sensitive skin. Masks are all different, and again, like every product that we have and that we work with, and every product that you have at home, they all have a purpose and they're all different. The purpose is different. So, you know, masks are not necessarily to just refine pores or just do something in particular. They're all very different, and you have, you know, your collagen masks, your sheet masks that your freezer dried collagen, your masks that have been soaking in serums, and very often, as you've seen in my recent videos, that I'll put a sheet mask over top of a mask because, again, something I like to layer, and I like to work with things that act as catalysts to the skin because, again, it all supports, everything I'm doing supports each other. So I'm big on layering, and as I said, I don't want to let this dry on her skin, but again, I just want, it has a purpose, and it's soothing and it's calming, and that's what we want from this particular mask. So I'm going to get ready to take it off. It's literally been on barely a minute, and I can feel it's starting to tighten a tab, so I don't want to leave it dry too much. I'm going to wash my hands and we shall take it off. And a lot of people think that when you do a fruit complex, that the fruit complex has to be left on the skin for, you know, a long time, and it doesn't. It literally can be just put on the skin, worked in for a little bit, and then taken straight off, and it has had a purpose. That there is a purpose to that. And it's the same with masks. They don't have to be left on 10 and 15 minutes where you walk around where they get really dry and tight, especially if you're living in a dry climate, because anything drying and tightening is just going to dry your skin out more, so you don't want to do that. So we have some warm towels, and we're going to get ready to take this one off. So my towels are yellow again, and that is because underneath the mask, and remember underneath that fruit complex, I had a very light coating of my flavonoid. So it's made my towels yellow. So we have removed the mask. What I'm going to do now is put a little bit of the flavonoid back on Shanlyn's skin. I'm going to mix it with the healing gel. Now, if you counted how many times I've used the Q on her, this could be somewhere around the 6th or 7th time in the treatment. So people have asked me, am I supposed to take off the flavonoid? And no, you don't, you leave it on your skin. But again, because I'm doing different things in my treatments, things will come on and off. For you, for home care, it's not necessarily that way. So I've mixed my Q and my healing gel, and we're going to then put a moisturizer over top, and then Shanlyn's good to go to sleep tonight. Okay, so I've got my eye gel, and I'm going to just put a little bit around her eyes. Now you see where you put your eye gel, you don't put it down onto your eyelid necessarily. It goes up underneath this eyebrow bone and up around here. Sometimes if you're using a light cream, and for some people you could put it on your eyelids, and I do for me, but it depends on your skin and the type of eye product you're using. I don't typically, although I have worked with developing products that do, eye products that do have a little retinol in them, the formulas are really important. But sometimes AHAs, and they put AHAs and retinols in eye products, and I'm not typically a fan of a retinol in an eye product. I prefer to use other ingredients that support the skin in different ways. So what I'm going to use here is just another night product, and it's in the Regimen Plus line, and I'm using a Regimen Plus night product here. I'm going to put it on her skin and just work it in a little bit, and then she's all done. The Regimen Plus line is it has just a few extra things in the line. It's not, it's soothing and calming, but it has a few extra goodies in there. Remember to always take care of that upper lip, because it is a really nice thing to do, and remember about it. And again, we've done this in the videos, but when you're working the upper lip and you're massaging your own face at home, it's easier to massage your own face when you are lying down than it is standing up in front of a mirror. So if you're, I do it with my knuckles, I do a lot of upward rolling movements, but when you're doing your upper lip, you just go different ways. Again, like the forehead, when you're working in the wrinkles, you go different ways. So you're really sort of getting product into the wrinkles. And again, as I said, Shanlyn really doesn't have much wrinkle, but it's nice to, she's got these really fine little lines on her forehead that are the pretend wrinkles that we still want to work the product into that. So, so she's all done. We've put a moisturizer on. She's got her eye product on. She's got her flavonoid underneath it. And I know that next time we see her, her skin's going to be better. It won't be as irritated, a little bit irritated today. But we're going to have her double up with her flavonoid at night time, putting 2 layers on before she puts on her moisturizer, which has a little bit of AHA in it. And that way, but her pore size is significantly smaller. And hopefully you saw that in the pictures that we put in from her first visit to us. So that is the end of another video. Thank you so much for watching. And Shanlyn, thank you so much for being here again. And we will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.